Hello, everyone, and welcome back to A Million Little Perspective. Um, Thank you for listening, as always. Please do spread this podcast so that we can get at least 100 downloads before the New Year's. That's my goal.
We're not making another podcast unless we have 5,000 views for each one.
I think you mean downloads, not views, because no one can see us. They're just listening to us.
I want 5,000 listenings of this podcast.
No, 100 total. 100 downloads would be nice, not 1,000.
100 would be nice, but 5,000 would be okay. So let's do
that. Well, okay. Let's get to the episode.
Okay, let's get started.
This episode's called Friday Night Dinner. A Million Little Things, Season 1, Episode 4. This is basically the follow-up to the breakup of the group because of Eddie and Delilah's affair. Secret has been revealed. This episode's written by Julia Cohen, directed by J. Miller Tobin.
It's not written by DJ.
No, it's not.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh no. All right. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started. This episode starts off a year before the events of the suicide, the tragedy, where the group, have their group is at the Dixon house, making pizza because it's Friday night tradition. Friday night pizza apparently for the group. And then they go back to the present day, and it's a Friday after the funeral, basically. So Delilah has a lot of memories that it's overwhelming because the secret's out, and also the fact that it's a Friday and the tradition of Friday night dinners where it's not going well at the current moment. Maggie's with her oncologist. I think that's the word. I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, oncologist. Looking at about her cancer, whether it came back or not. And she learns this devastating news that has come back, and the doctor suggests treatment would be nice, but Maggie doesn't. Maggie's she doesn't speak, but it's clear that she doesn't want it. We go back to the Dixon house. Gary and Gary's trying to get Regina. No, Gary's trying to get Delilah to talk to Regina. Meanwhile, Rome is also trying to get Regina to talk to Delilah because they're best friends, and they're not talking because of the secret. And
right.
Rome and
be clear, this is a year before John.
No. It's already been no.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, right. It's the present day where the secret's out and everything.
Right. Spicy. Okay.
Rome and Gary is trying to put the two women together because best friends. You have to. They have to talk at one point. And then Gary is trying to convince Delilah, and then Delilah makes the point that Gary and Eddie had a fight in the ice ring of the Bruins fan in front of their number one fan. In the previous episode, Catherine and Eddie is still in a very, very uncomfortable relationship area, obviously. And then we flash back to the time when Eddie was we flash back into Eddie's time as a guitarist in a band called Red Ferns. Yeah, he was. That's why he got drinking too much, and then yeah, that's why he's sober now, because he was in the band. Then we see all his friends as well, younger versions, obviously, and we also see Catherine and Eddie being in a lot more love than we see in the present day, basically.
Right.
But when Theo walks in, the son,
The smart
yeah,
kid.
the smart kid,
Yeah. Okay.
Eddie
5-year-old?
and Catherine, no,
Okay.
Eddie
Yeah.
and Catherine acts like nothing's happened. Just like when in episode 1, when Eddie acts like nothing happened when he said he was moving out in the opening of the pilot, basically. And then we go back to the Dixon. We go back to Regina and Rome at the restaurant. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention about the restaurant and in any episodes so far, but in the opening, in the pilot, John's last gift to Regina and Delilah was this space in Boston for a restaurant where those two could be a business partner, basically. And the restaurant's pretty important in the series.
Right.
And this is where Regina, this is where Rome and Gary want Regina and Delilah to work things out, while Delilah's doing some construction, and
So they own the restaurant.
yes, yeah, basically they own the restaurant. It's not open because everything is under construction. They're trying to build the restaurant from grounds up, basically. Right. And Delilah and Regina have this conversation, and they are still they're they're in speaking terms, but they're not
It's just very awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then we meet Delilah's father, who is has amnesia, old, so starting to forget a lot of things, which is understandable. But when I listened to the podcast for why for the character explanation of each character in the creator's DJ Nash, he explained that Delilah's father was supposed to represent his DJ Nash's father, who is a blind attorney.
Blind attorney?
Yeah.
His dad's Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, who has amnesia, or memory loss, and has is basically
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so it explains how many of the characters are related to his family and his friends, basically. We come to then we go to the cancer support group, where Gary and Maggie attend, and we meet another person, and Maggie learns that Gary has been sleeping with many people from the cancer support group, which kind of is very awkward.
No.
Yeah, I know. And Maggie's like,
what is up with this guy?
Maggie's like, I'm not the only one, basically yeah, basically, yeah. And then we go back to pizza night, but instead of a year before, like the opening of the episode, it's 6 months before. So we see this build up, basically. 6 months, and just about 6 months before, on the pizza night, Delilah's father has started having memory issues, and tries to serve alcohol to Eddie, and which John stops, basically. And yeah, and that's this small scene. And then John and Delilah's talking about getting help for Delilah's father, but he walks out because he has a phone call from work, basically. He's a hardworking guy. One of the reasons why apparently Delilah had the affair with Eddie, basically. And then we had to Rome and Rome being in with Maggie, talking about his depression basically,
Mm-hmm.
and then also trying to convince Regina to talk to Delilah in a more civilized way instead of an uncomfortable way. And then Catherine and
That's
Theo
very
walk.
hard to do.
Yeah, I know. Catherine and Theo comes back home and sees Sophie. Sophie doesn't know about the affair. The child, all three kids, doesn't know about the affair. The adults are dealing with it, not the kids. So basically, Catherine has to act completely normal in front of Sophie instead of yeah, basically. And then we flash to Eddie going into a bar that he always visits apparently, when he was an alcoholic, and we go into this flashback of Eddie being drunk on the when Theo was born, the birth of Theo basically. Eddie is drunk basically, and Theo is being born. So Gary is trying to tell him that your son is born. You shouldn't be here. You're drunk. You have to get help. Blah 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 blah.
He's
And
being drunk on the day or night of his son's birth.
It's a morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
Yes, morning. So he's been drinking all night for 12 hours.
What does the wife have to say about that? What the?
The wife's in labor, so she's not in the scene.
Right, but jeez.
But that's before, right? Before Theo was born. So this is like 9 years ago, basically.
Right.
And then we go back. We go to Rome and Maggie talk, stuff. And then we, Eddie's. We go back to Eddie basically, and Eddie meets the owner of the bar, and Eddie's thinking about having a comeback basically of being in a not drinking comeback in a singing basically, like a concert.
A what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The bar is also a performance place, so he's thinking about singing again basically.
So he's like, let's get the band back together.
No, he just wants to sing by himself.
Oh.
And then Regina and Rome have this intense conversation about about betrayal, basically. Of Regina not talking about Delilah, basically, and Regina promises to talk to her more civilized, which is very nice, very nice. And then we had to Regina and Delilah in the Dixon house, and Regina and Delilah tries to talk things out, and surprisingly, Regina forgives her, or semi forgives her, because she's very civilized and wants to help her make pizza because it's Friday night, pizza night, basically.
So eat pizza. That's how if you want to forgive someone, just give them pizza.
Yeah. Gary comes back to Maggie's house, basically, or goes to Maggie's house to explain that explain the about the relationship he had with the Kansas War Group, and he says, "You're Maggie's different. He's different." And then he takes off his shirt because basically you can't see the cut on the chest unless you take off his shirt for breast cancer, basically. And it's revealed, the scar is revealed, and it's like it's very earning, I guess, of how Gary has now overcome a lot of things, and now he's in this state where he's accepting the scar, basically. And then Catherine, back at the Seville house, Eddie's last name, we see Catherine and Maggie talking, basically. And then Eddie walks in, and then Sophie leaves, and then Catherine basically kicks Eddie out of the house, which is understandable for a lot of things, and then the Eddie and Catherine has to drop Sophie off at the Dixon house, and a few questions. Why aren't we going in the house? It's pizza night. Why can't we also be invited? And instead of and then everyone arrives at the Dixon house because it's pizza night apparently. So everyone's there. Maggie, Rome, Regina, everyone. And then Regina talks with Catherine, understanding and stuff. But right then, Rome enters the kitchen, and saying that he quit his job, basically.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he quit his job, which everyone celebrates because Rome. Rome's depression comes from one of the key components. It was his job. He wants to make a movie, so he says, "I quit my job and I want to make my movie." Basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then we go into the scene of everyone making pizza for pizza night, because you don't pizza night for these group of people means making it from scratch. Basically, you make the I don't know what it's called, but the bread part, and then you put the sauce.
The base.
The base, and then you put the sauce, and then you put everything, and then you put it in the oven, and then so that's how the episode ends, with everyone being more comfortable to be around than other circumstances. So that's how the episode ends, which it's quite fun. It's quite nice to see them back together, unlike
after the
last episode, because everything was torn into shreds in the last episodes, and then everything is, I guess it's like breaking a glass, a mirror, and you put it together. There's still these sharp cuts, but it's slightly back together. That's how the group is right now, basically, because Catherine kicked Eddie out of the house. So there's that. So I guess that's it's a great ending to a great episode without being written by DJ Nash. Even though he probably oversaw the episode, he didn't write it. So it's nice to see how other people can write a well-written episode just like DJ Nash. But that's just the beginning for a lot of writers, I guess. So, what did you think of it overall?
Awesome. I think that's good that they didn't really fix everything. They're kind of doing it step by step, because they do have to do like how many more episodes?
It's 17 for the first season.
Right, but I'm guessing all new problems are going to be introduced.
Obviously.
Right, but yeah, so far I think that's good. After the last episode, I think this episode's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a nice ending to a nice episode. Well, I guess thank you for listening, and tune up for next time for more Little Perspective. And please do share this podcast with your friends so that we can hit 5,000 downloads before the New Year's, or 1,000. I don't know.
5,000, or I'll be very upset.
But yeah, okay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.